Okay, everybody, take a seat. Let's get started again. So next up we have Mikko from S Group, and I think Mikko is very seasoned in his domain, and I think he can tell a lot about monitoring. And I want to give a big hand to Mikko. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks. So, my name is Mikko Rahikainen. I'm from SOK. Someone knows the S Group in here, so you don't need any further info on that. I have been working with the RPA since 2017, so 8 years. Basically, first 4 years with the Blue Prism, and then it continues in SOK with the Blue Prism, and this year we started with the RoboCorp and the robot framework. So thanks for the invite. Hopefully I have some insights what we have with it. Telling about the normal RPA process is quite boring because all of you is some way automating something with the robot framework. So I'm giving another angle that what we are building currently on the top of the RPA processes. Of course, I will give a short introduction about S Group, but with the IT twist. Then the problem statement with what we have currently with the monitoring, and the setup what we are building, and hopefully the future or future state what we are trying to achieve. Pros and cons, what we have learned, and what are the pitfalls currently. If you have anything in mind, please ask during the presentation. I don't want to keep a monologue here. Some terminology that as I'm referring synthetic monitoring, I'm referring that the bot is doing something user specific task on system interface or user interface. And when I'm referring the RPA process, it's originally developed for the business process automation. So there's a slight difference between those. As Group today, the brands are for the Finnish people or people who live in Finland quite familiar. There's a lot of business areas, supermarkets, gas stations, hospitality areas, restaurants, and so on. Revenue 13.5 billion per year, 41,000 employees, and almost 2,000 places to make business. In IT perspective, it means that we have more than 500 million monitored APA calls monthly, over 700 registered applications in our application database that certain application has an owner and some kind of operations. More than 400 IT personnel. I don't know how many consultants. I think quite a lot. And 23 cash registers in all over Finland. So it is quite obvious that this kind of organization needs RPA because there's always something to do, always something to automate. And my opinion is that we are just scratching the surface because 700 applications is massive amount of applications. But yeah, the current situation with one of the our one business units is following that there's multiple systems integrated with each other. They have the vendor with the system 1 and then another vendor with the system 2 and so on. And they have own kind of monitoring system or monitoring application that if something is failing, you need to go to monitoring system 1 to check is it running, or you need to go to system monitoring 3 to check is it something running. And some system haven't basically any kind of monitoring, so it's like riding a truck in the forest without lights. It just goes, and hopefully nothing happens. And of course, when the situation is like this, when something happens, let's say in the last system in this chain, they don't receive anything. First, they are looking their own system, is it working? Then they're looking the next application, is it working? And the root cause analysis take a time to understand that, okay, at this point we have a failure and everything between it is crashing. Not a nice situation, I will say. All right. In RPA perspective, RPA is mostly part of every of these legacy systems already. So this year, when we started with the RoboCorp, we came up with the idea that what if we use the RPA platform also for monitoring purposes, because it's using the UI, it's nice and neat with the SAP and so on. So first, we made some really simple login, navigate somewhere, log out processes, checking that the user interface is working. Then, if needed, we added some data gathering via user interface, because that was the only way how to get the let's say input data from that specific system. And these two added as output items of a process. We put them in our Confluent Kafka stream. Do you know what Kafka streaming, event streaming means? Hopefully. So every single time when the RPA process runs, it will send it output and the original robot framework output XML to our topic streams. With this, we were able to create RoboCorp like a system dashboard between the workspaces and see like really common stuff. That is it the platform, our platform operating. In addition, for the event streaming, our operation system and visualization monitoring people get part of that stream in this specific business process to get the information from the RPA processes. So the idea behind is that every single system is a contact point for the monitoring, and also the RPA processes is part of that monitoring process, which enables to, let's say, anomaly checking that RPA process is running, but this is not looking good, or the amounts of incoming data is not enough. So we are able, hopefully soon, we are able to make nice and neat traffic lights across the business process to see from one point of view that is the process, is the system operational at all. The second phase, this was like really log in, log out, basic stuff. They are doing absolutely nothing. They are just synthetic monitoring processes. And this part is also part of it. But when we have built this setup, the next phase, we are not there yet. But our RPAs is connected to more than 30, more than 40 commonly used systems already. So why don't we put those same RPA processes to same stream, adding some additional data on it, and attaching those RPA processes as part of our monitoring, because they are using mostly still the user interfaces. They are using all the same buttons that the business is using. If, let's say, some certain SAP window is not opening, normally the RPA is the first one who notifies it, because it's all the time doing something with the window. What else? Of course, RPA process is running on the night time, so you have 24/7 surveillance with the RPA tools. Moreover, when you get the robot framework output log, you get the timestamps, you get the slowness in the user interface basically immediately. If the monitor system is good enough, you will see that, okay, there's 10, 20, 30% increase of response time. There's something to happen quite soon. This kind of things is common stuff for the new software and new, let's say, ASCAO, but it's really basic stuff. But for SAP, which is from, I don't know, 50s, 60s, it's not that common at all. What we need to do, we need to identify the system IDs. We have the system database, and we have every single system has their own IDs. So adding those as a part of the RPA process, let's say log system ID is, then it's attached to the log or output XML. If we have a business house or business process house, which we are not, we would like to have the business IDs. So then the business will see is the business flow, let's say, from ordering product from vendor to putting them on store. Is it functional? The business process must have an ID for that, and RPA is somewhere in between, giving the information that is it functional or not. It is hard. I don't know how we can manage the system ID identification, moreover the business process identification, because it's not there yet, but it's coming. What we have learned so far is that the Blue Prism that we are using for 7 years now is too expensive and too slow for this. Generally the synthetic process and the RPA process log looks quite the same. You have the same, like, keyword started, keyword ended kind of stuff. So it's, you're able to extract the data. It's hard, but you can do it. You can run it physically from different locations. There's just one case that it works on my machine, but it doesn't work from out of SOK network. From our network, from external network, from Apple devices with the Windows devices. So we can get five monitoring points with exactly the same process, which is nice. Robot framework is target system agnostic. It doesn't care is it SAP or is it Oracle Java, or is it browser-based application. The log is still the same. And of course, when we were using Blue Prism, as we do still, when we show the process template for our ASCAO developers, they was looking like, what is this? Where's the code? So now the language is more understandable for real developers. Let's say so. And I think at this point we don't have any return from back to the. I think it's a really good question. I want to ask from the audience that, do you have your RPA processes part of the system monitoring? Kind of.
have a Elastic Stack and all the tests that are run on the robot framework get uploaded to the Elastic Stack, and so you can monitor from there pretty much.
But are those like test scenarios, or are they like business processes?
Well, the test cases mainly.
Yeah.
But same applies.
Yeah.
You said that the logs are too big. Can you elaborate on that one?
Yeah, we are still figuring out and learning with the business process logs. We are extensively using the logging, so there's a bit of.
So you haven't figured out yet how to just.
Yeah, we are figuring out
what you don't need.
Yeah. And there's a bit of delay still from the event streaming from the RPA via Confluent Kafka to the monitoring. So there's a bit of we need to tidying up that a bit so we get it in real time.
All right.
Are there more questions? Okay. I think no more questions. Maybe just quickly still about process that you have and robot framework, and you mentioned a RoboCorp term a few times, so maybe you can kind of quickly say what is actually robot framework there. What I gathered from there that you use RoboCorp, so RoboCorp is one of the robot framework foundation partners, and they have a monitoring system, if I'm not mistaken. But can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So RoboCorp is commercial software on based on robot framework, and not everyone has access to RoboCorp control room, because business want to see that the business let's say process has generated 30,000 invoices per month, but they don't have access to our RoboCorp system. So we are building the Power BI on top of it, so they can see from the common, let's say, reporting softwares that the SOK is using.
Oh, okay, thank you. And do you see, if we're talking about open source and non-commercial products, that something like this could work also fully open source?
Why not? Of course, you need some kind of streaming, so you can set or get the logs and analyze the logs and visualize the logs. Yeah, it is possible.
Okay, thank you. Still, any more questions for Mikko? No, I think. Oh, there is one more question. Just a moment.
Can you go to the pros where you have the slide where you have the pros? You said the licensed RPA software expensive synthetic monitoring purposes. It's expensive. How is it a pro? Like, I mean,
let's say if we want to make a Blue Prism synthetic monitoring process, the cost is for one license is roughly 10,000 euros per year. How much does it cost when you run it with the robot framework? None. So there's a slightly different. And if we want to monitor, let's say 40 processes, 5 minutes interval, we need 40 licenses, and with the robot framework we need, I don't know, 2 or 3 machines max to get it done. So it's cheap.
all right, thanks.
Okay, still a chance to ask questions. I think no more questions. So thank you a lot, Mikko. It was a really nice presentation. Let's have another 10-minute break or so, and then we'll be ready for our next presenter, which is also Mikko. Another Mikko, though. Okay, let's take a 10. Thanks.
Thank you.